Hello there everybody, Sam Straits here, welcome back to the Railway, lovely to have your company of course. I'm very excited today because I'm going to be looking at a couple more of those Bachmann Thomas characters, and I say a couple more, I can lift them up, because of course it is the two Scottish twins, Donald and Douglas. So very excited, I've had these for quite a little while and I know they've been desperate to be reviewed because they love all the limelight. So I'm going to get to those in just a second, and I think we'll get them running in a double header as well because I know they like that. Before I get started though, I thought I'd better give you another little update on the giveaway. I'm going to announce it properly sometime over the next month. But just for now, I can confirm that it is going to be Thomas related, and it is going to involve one of the Bachmann Thomas and Friends range. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you are, and then you won't miss a thing on that. Okay, let's get to it then with Donald and Douglas. Here we go. Okay then, so there they are then, Donald and Douglas in their packagings. I'm not going to look at the packagings today, of course, because it's just the same as all the rest. But who shall I open first? I think we'll go with Donald first, shall I? So I'll just stick Douglas over there for a minute. So there he is then in his blister pack, and is it me or does he look particularly distressed to be in there? I don't know. I didn't think they particularly hated this packaging too much. But then again, I suppose possibly it's because he's not next to Douglas, that might be why. Okay, so let's get him out of there as soon as we possibly can then, and it's the same job as before, where I've made a little cut, as you can see in the back of the packaging there. I will just grab the paperwork very quickly so I can show you the diagram. I sound so boring, don't I? I do find them interesting though, to be honest, and I've not looked at this yet. Oh, there it is anyway. And I've not had Donald and Douglas open yet, I've not had to service them, so luckily I'm yet to experience all of this, but I'm sure I will one day. So that's that. I'm just going to stick that to one side. Okay, let's get him out then. So this is number 9 of course, which is Donald. And Douglas obviously is number 10. Right, so there he is, and the easiest way to get these out I've found is just to turn them upside down on the floor. The tender comes out quite easily, but the Loco seems to stick. So you just sort of pull them out, and there you go. Okay, so there is Donald then, looking very, very lovely. And what I really, really like about these is the fact that they're in this very, very shiny, glossy plastic, which just looks fantastic. It's like they've been polished, which I'm sure they would have been on Sodor, because the Fat Controller likes to keep all the engines in very good nick, doesn't he? So that is Donald, and he's looking a little bit more happy now that he's out of the packaging, but I think he'll be even more happy once Douglas is out with him. So I'm going to stick him to one side. There we are, just leave his face in the shot so that you can watch Douglas coming out of the packaging. So talking of the devil, here is old Douglas then, and I'm not going to show you the paperwork of course because it is exactly the same. So let's get him out straight away then, same way as before, and I will just flip him over, get him out. Alright, hello Douglas, nice to see you again mate. There he is, and again what a lovely glossy finish he is. So number 10, yes, Douglas. So I'm going to review these together. I think what I might do is I might show one of them up on the white background and do the detail, and then, so I don't know, let's say we'll let Donald do that bit, and then when I get onto the performance, when we try them out, I'll let Douglas do the slow speed test. So I'll probably do it that way. Okay, well I'll do that in a second then, but for now let's have a little bit of history on the twins and see what they like to get up to, shall we? First of all then, a couple of very important shout outs. The first one is to Charlie, aged 3, who I know likes to watch my videos. So hello Charlie, hope you like the video. And also to Ruben, aged 2.5, I know he likes to watch these as well. So I hope you enjoy it too. Thank you for getting in touch folks, and I'll talk to you soon. Donald and Douglas then were known as the Scottish twins of course, and they fled to Sodor in 1959 in order to escape being scrapped. They were both based on the Caledonian 812 class, meaning that they were based on the same locomotive, and that meant that they could pretend to be one another, and they eventually got given their own nameplates rather than just numbers so that they couldn't play this trick on people anymore. The twins are very able and very strong, making them perfect for most jobs over on Sodor, and being from Scotland, they're also quite happy to work in bad weather, which is very important of course. Donald and Douglas can't bear to be separated, so they often run together as double headers. And even though they're both well over 100 years old now, they still appear as themselves on TV in Thomas and Friends, although they don't appear quite as much as they used to since they're now in semi-retirement. Okay, let's get to them then. Let's have a look at Donald, shall we? So there he is then, Donald up against the white background, and I must say, compared to the rest, these do have quite a bit of detail, especially the painted detail. But we'll start by looking at his face. So there it is, quite a nicely detailed face, lots of character. He has got quite a surprised look on his face, I would say. He almost looks like he's seen something that he never wants to see again. I don't know. But yeah, it is a nicely detailed face, and there isn't much difference between the faces of Donald and Douglas. If I just show you Douglas's face very quickly, if you just look at the eyebrows, that's the only difference I can really spot, just a slight difference on the eyebrows there. But okay, then let's look at the rest of the model, and as I've already talked about, it is very, very nicely glossy. Very glossy. More glossy than the rest, I would say, probably just because it's black, but yeah, it is very nicely glossy. You have the white handrail, which isn't separately fitted, but it is separately painted, which is quite nice to see. And of course, there's a few separately fitted parts on this. You've got the Donald nameplate, which is very nicely done, and it is separately fitted, because I saw that on the instructions. And then you've got the buffers on the buffer beam, which of course look quite nice and realistic, although they're not sprung or anything like that. And then separately fitted, you also have the vacuum pipe and the coupling hook, which again are quite nice to include, I think. Up on the top here you can see you do have, I don't know whether it's separately fitted or just separately painted, but you've got the safety valves and the whistle there, which is quite a nice touch. I reckon that Donald and Douglas are based on the BR era, which would make sense if they came to Sodor in 1959, just at the end of Steam, because this looks a lot like the BR livery, doesn't it, with the white and red lining, so yep, that's my guess anyway. These do have a little bit of a cab area. It isn't detailed or anything like that, but at least it's not just completely walled off like it was on some of the others, although you haven't got any glazed windows or anything like that, of course. The tender is also very, very nice. I really like the tender on these because the coal, as you can see, is just so nicely detailed. It just looks like the rest of the Bachmann coal. But yeah, as you can see, he's number 9, very nicely printed onto there, and again you've got that sort of BR era lining around the tender, which is quite a short tender, isn't it? It's about half the height of old Donald, so that's quite interesting. And again, around the back you've got a nicely detailed buffer beam as well, which you wouldn't necessarily expect for a toy model, but yep, you do have that, which is very nice. And obviously all of the wheels are metal, which is a very, very nice touch. So that's all I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to make you sit and stare at him sitting still for long, because I know we all want to see them run together. So let's get them to the track, and I'll let Douglas take over and show us how well they can run at slow speeds. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so Douglas has taken over now. There he is down onto the track, ready to be tested. He's looking a tad nervous, but there's nothing to worry about, Douglas. You'll be fine. As you can see, there's a train ready for them, just down the line a little bit. Some mixed goods, which hopefully they'll enjoy pulling together. But before we introduce Donald back onto the scene again, let's get Douglas tested. So here we go, a little bit of slow speed. Don't know which way he's set to go. But as you can see, just like the rest of the Bachmann range, very, very, very good slow speed. In fact, the only real complaints I've got on the performance is the fact that they are a little bit light, and they also are a little bit noisy too at high speeds. But again, minor complaints. They don't affect the actual performance. Well, I suppose they can't pull that much on their own, but together they certainly can pull quite a bit actually. Okay, I'm going to stop him there. Is he still in shot? Oh, not quite. Let me move him back a touch, because I'm going to couple up Donald to the back, and I'm going to let Douglas go in front this time, just because I like to let them take it in turns. So, right, here we go. Just stick him down. Oh, the tender's come apart. Okay. Right. Couple those together. So there they are then, Donald and Douglas, and of course Donald has got a very nice view of Douglas's bottom. Ah, that's why it looks so disgusted. There we go, that explains it. Okay, let's get started then. Try and back them up, shall I? There we go. And let's see them coupled to their goods train. Definitely a bit of screeching going on. Right, nice and steady, lads. There we go. Right, let's keep them going back. What I might do is just zoom in a little bit so that you can see their eyes move as they move off. So I'll do that now. There we go. Okay, nice and steadily does it then, boys. Yep, you can see the eyes moving there. Right, I'll leave you there so that you can see the wagons go by. And I will speed them up a little bit just so they don't have any trouble. And as always, look out for what other engines you can see on the line. And I'm going to be running some other engines alongside the twins, so let me show you those right now. And just approaching now, nice and steadily, is Emily, of course, and she has 2 coaches. Still need to try and get some of the proper Emily coaches, but there they are now, just green ones for the time being. And then on the inner line, very, very desperate to show off again. Well, he's not too much of a show off, but he does love his flying kipper. It's Henry, of course, with a bit of a goods train, which with a bit of imagination you can pretend is the flying kipper. Okay, enjoy the running session, and of course don't forget to see who else you can spot. There go the twins. Again, it's not a massively heavy train that they've got to pull today, because I don't want to stress them out too much on their first proper review. So yes, just a smaller train, but one day I will put a much bigger train on and we'll really find out how much they can pull. They are just so lovely and smart though, aren't they? Look at the way the light bounces off them. I love the gloss. I wouldn't mind getting one of the Caledonian 812 Locos in real life actually. Well, not a real one obviously, a model, but I don't know if anyone does one, do they? Have you ever thought about that? So you buy, I don't know, a locomotive, you buy an A4 on eBay or something like that, and it comes and it's a real A4. What would you do? Would you keep it in the garden? Or what? I don't know. What would you do? Be good if you bought it for £100 or so. I'd probably try and keep it. Oh. I don't actually know who normally runs in the front, but I think I let Donald run on the front last time, so I'm letting Douglas have a turn. You know, I mean, it's not very fair just looking at the other one's bottom all the time, so I think it's nice for them to swap once in a while. And they're happy enough, you know. They seem more than happy to be doing it that way, so yeah, that's fine by me. Here comes Emily. I thought it had been a little while since I'd run her, so there she is, the good old Sterling single, of course. Very happy today, she hasn't stopped on the points once. And Henry, of course, working tirelessly. At least one of those is a fish van, and those are ventilated, so I suppose you could put fish in those at a push. Oh, look at those wires, what a mess. Yeah, now you know why I don't show that very often. It's alright though, they stay off the track. And I think behind computers is always a bit messy on the wires. There's not a lot I can do about it. Here are my ratings then anyway for Donald and Douglas. Detail 4 out of 10, obviously it's in red because I don't count it. The detail was better than on some I think, but obviously it is a toy so it wouldn't really be fair to knock it down because of the detail. Performance 8 out of 10, they are very good slow speed performers, although they are a little bit light, which means that they do have to double head if they want to pull any sort of reasonable sized train. And they're a touch on the noisy side as well, but apart from that they are very good runners. Character 8 out of 10, very good marks there. I don't think they're as strong as some characters, but they certainly do have a lot of character, so good marks. Build quality 10 out of 10, as always with the Bachmann range, I can't really find a way to fault it. It is very good and they are very sturdy. Value, I paid £65 each for these, which isn't too bad I don't suppose, but you know, they're only quite basic, so perhaps it is a little bit pricey, I don't know. Anyway, 7 out of 10, not too bad. Overall then, that's 8.52 out of 10, a very good score, which rates them 19th, just above the Bachmann Emily and below the Railroad Hall class. Alright then folks, I'm going to let you go. That was my review of Donald and Douglas by Bachmann, and they are great, aren't they? And I do love doing double headers, so this is a fantastic excuse. Alright folks, well, hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did, and if you did like the video, please feel free to leave me a comment because I do love to hear from you. And also, if you'd like to check out the Facebook and Twitter pages, please do. The links are below. And also, if you have any Loco trouble, especially with your Thomas ones, because I know they get a lot of use, don't they? I do have a Loco maintenance service, so if you'd like to send anything in for repairs or just a service, please do. And if you are interested in that, you can just send me an email to samstrains@outlook.com. The Wall of Fame is still thriving. I haven't printed out any for a while actually, but I've only got I think 4 or 5 waiting, so if you're waiting, I'm sorry, but I will get that up as soon as possible. But for now folks, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all very soon. Cheers everybody. Let's have one more look at Henry. Bless him. Alright folks, see you next time.